look at the Bill Belichick defense, are there just some common themes that you just see with him maybe versus anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, excellent coach, obviously. The scheme is really sound. They've been doing it for a long time. They just put the pieces in. They have a lot of good pieces. Very challenging defense, and we'll have our hands full this week. Notoriously, he does a great job of taking away what you do well, and understanding that going into it in your game planning gives you a chance there. But extremely disciplined group, really good fundamentals, and very sound scheme, obviously. They play really at a high level.
Well, today you mentioned a lot of games that they play, a lot of all that kind of stuff. Is there, obviously that can be tough for an offense, but is there maybe an advantage that you can catch them sometimes when they're trying to run those stunts?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a challenge to pick all the stunts up. That's a portion of their pressure package, is moving the line. One of our strengths is the ability to play together up front and pass those off. So if you catch them at the right time in a run, you could pop those. But again, once they're extremely sound, they know their weaknesses in each of their schemes, and they usually protect against that type of play.
Coach, they are disciplined. Do they move Juden around a little bit?
I'm sorry?
They move Juden around a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. He'll move around, but we'll expect to see him out on the edge for the most part. Coming off a great game last week, does a lot of really good things in the pass rush. He's another guy, much like Mac last week, that we'll make sure we're aware of where he is.
Is he playing at as high a level as he's played in his career?
Yeah, coming off of last week's game, I'd have to say so. He's had the production in the pass game, as far as rushing the quarterback. So extremely aware of him at all times.
Said that you guys have been running into some stacked fronts, but you have been practicing for that, kind of preparing to see that. Do you think you guys have done a better job having success running when teams have done that to you this year?
I think so. I think it's expected now. Teams are going to try to stop the run any way they can, and a lot of the times that includes adding an extra body down in the box. So, accounting for those guys in the box with our scheme has helped. But we expect it, and I think, in the last year and a half or so, we're kind of to the point where we'd be shocked if we didn't see it.
When you talk about Belichick trying to take away what you do best, I mean, that would seem to be the run game. So is there something that he can do that you haven't seen yet from these other schemes that you faced?
Oh, sure. I wouldn't put anything past him. Obviously an excellent coach, but he's done a lot of things. He's jumped in some 6-1 looks against the Rams a couple years back. That became the fad against that type of offense. We're prepared for everything. We've faced a lot of different fronts against other teams. I'm not sure if there's much else that he could show, but I wouldn't put it past him to come up with something.
Have you ever said to yourself, where did he come up with that when you're looking at one of these things?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and I've played against him a lot. All my playing days in Buffalo and coaching in Buffalo, coached against him, so obviously I have a ton of respect for that organization and him and their scheme on defense. But there's stuff that pops up every year, like that's good, really good. So.
Think about that time when he had no DBs and played receivers there? Or I think that was
Yes, yes, definitely well-coached unit.
How much is the run game being successful and teams responding to that success, been able to open up the rest of your offense and make it so versatile?
Well, that's the starting point for us, is the run. And then we try to get chunk plays off of the actions, off that, the keeper game off of that. So, if you're not running the ball well, it's hard to fake a handoff and push the ball down the field, or keep it and try to get on the edge. A lot of times when teams are chasing on the backside, that's when we come back to the keepers and they're effective. But if they're not having to chase on the backside to stop the run, then the rest of your pass game, your play action, run action game becomes ineffective. So, it's the marriage of the run and the pass for sure for us.
Alex Jacoby's 3 interceptions have come in the final 3 minutes of the games. If you should go back and you break those plays down and come up with coaching points or teaching points there, is there a common thread? Is it a rushing thing, or something like that? Just what have you seen there, and how can he eliminate those at that time of game?
2 of those are really situational, right? The 2-minute drives when we need points and we need a lot of yards with little timeouts. You have a tendency as a quarterback, and we ask him to do that. The tighter the game, the less time on the clock, the less timeouts. We have to be more aggressive in taking those chances, and 2 of those came up in those situations. The red zone interception, something he would love to have back last week, but really he's playing at a high level, minus those really the one play. The 2-minute interceptions, that you're going to have those because you're trying to push the ball down the field into tight windows. But I think he's playing at a really high level, minus those 2 plays, or that one play in the red zone especially. But everything else has been really good. So want to make sure he understands that we're very happy with his play. He's playing extremely well for us right now, and if we just eliminate one play, really take 3 plays in those games, it's a different ball game. But proud of him, what he's been able to do for us offensively. Great leader again, really showing his leadership here in the last few weeks.
In terms of extending plays and using his legs and running and doing all that kind of stuff, was that about what you thought it was going to be, or has he even exceeded expectations in that regard?
Probably exceeded expectations for the production he's had in the scrambles, but you do see a lot of that in his pass film as we watched him. He's very strong in the pocket. It's tough to bring down. Guys will come off of him, fall off of him, and he gets what's there. And obviously, it's not a Lamar Jackson or Deshaun out on the edge, but it's effective, and he's had some big runs for us on scrambles.
Assigned to work with Donovan, Deshaun
Deshaun?
at this point?
Yeah, no, we're glad to have Deshaun back in the building, back in the meeting rooms, and there's definitely a plan in place for him to get the work that he needs, yes.
Attending meeting?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So who works with him on the field?
That's not, to be discussed, but there's definitely a plan in place, and it's been discussed at every level, and we'll get him ready.
Is he able to give some input in some of the game planning now and kind of help get guys a little fired up and point things out and things like that?
Yeah, no, our quarterback room is awesome. Everybody has voice in there, so it's good just to have him back in the room. Obviously, we take everybody in that room's opinions, and we use them if we think fit. But everybody in that room is welcome to speak up at any time.
Alex, we've seen David Bell make a catch in the last 2 fourth quarters. It's kind of been his overall progression going back to camp when he had to make up for lost time.
Yeah, no, I think he's getting better each week. His confidence levels growing each week. The quarterback confidence in him is growing. He's quietly making the plays that he's asked to make when they come to him. So continue to see growth there from him.
To see the consistent production you imagine from David Njoku.
Yes, and the run game. Again, another guy that's playing at a really high level right now. I don't love what he does in the pass game. Big conversion last week on 3rd down, running away from a defender using his speed. Makes the plays that have come to him. But in the run game, asking him to block these edge rushers, in these 5 on the line structured defenses, those are big guys on the edge. So him handling a Mac on the edge, Judon this week, those are things that you don't ask a lot of tight ends to do in the NFL, and he can do them. So really happy with where he is right now.